Today, my friends, I'm here to teach you how to use the Frozen Witch attack strategy with Quad Quake and also possibly the jump spell as well. But we are going to mainly be seeing the Quad Quake. We've got only 3 different examples here for you guys. I wish I could have found more. However, all of these we're going to be breaking down in depth to help you guys improve your, basically, your attacks with witches here at Town Hall 10, but this time with the Frozen Witch. With that being said, let's jump straight into the guide. So, as I said, we're going to be going over the Frozen Witch attack, and this is definitely something that is a lot of fun to use at Town Hall 10. Frozen Witch is definitely a very, very viable attack. However, when is it necessary to use it? And actually, how do you use it? So, since you're using the wall wrecker, you are basically looking to go in opposite of where the town hall is. So, if we're considering the town hall being up here, how are we going to be able to deal with this? Specifically, here's what we want to do. We want to find our entry point. So, we're kind of looking for the wall wrecker to stay in a good chunk of the base, so that won't work. Let's take a look at this part right here. That would probably work. It gets us a large chunk of the base. And we also have a Quad Quake, so we should be able to break into more than just that portion. So I think from around this side here, we should be able to get a good amount of value. Maybe even like about here. Or maybe even a little bit further. Maybe even more so towards 6. So maybe about here. That could actually work a little bit better. You just got to identify that when you guys are using this attack strategy. Just make sure that you're looking around the base, so that then you're kind of saying, alright, where can I Quad Quake and where should I start my attack? Now, not only that, but you also really want to look for how do I funnel in my heroes. Obviously, you've got 15 witches, so you're not going to be using that many to create the funnel, but you're creating one here and one here. Once you've created that, you can start sending in your wall wrecker to start moving into the base with your heroes. That's going to be the thing. Now, also, you notice that you have a heal and a rage. That's going to be specifically for the bowlers within the wall wrecker. This offers you a little bit more value, since typically you're going to be using bowlers and, well, you're going to be using the bowlers, but you're going to be using heal and rage. Heal because it keeps them alive more times than, well, I guess more often than once. And also rage is going to help them deal a lot more damage a lot quicker. So that's the only reason those rage spells. Now, you'll also notice the freeze, but with this one, this is still a Frozen Witch. It's just you're bringing less freeze spells. This is really going to be base dependent, because the Quad Quake offers a lot of value depending on how the base design looks. So if you can kind of take advantage of very thin layered compartments, and there's multiple of them, and you could break into, what, 2 multi-inferno compartments, that's going to help a lot here, especially with an attack like this. So kind of understanding that we want to be able to send the rest of the witches along the line and the heroes as they move into the base, that's what we're looking for. Also, dealing with the CC with the poison shouldn't be too hard. It's a very, very simple one. Now, why are we not starting the attack from this way? Specifically, because we have the wall wrecker. If the wall wrecker wasn't there, we probably would be. However, would you really want to charge into two multi-infernos at the same time? Probably not. So what we're looking at right here is we're specifically wanting to find our entry point. We want to use our Quad Quake a little bit later on. Let's save it for when the wall wrecker pops. But then also, we want to make sure that setting that funnel is our top priority. That also means sending in witches so that then they stay inside of the base. You can see right here that the Quad Quake was used. Now, the Quad Quake was used in a good area where that wall wrecker was already going to destroy the wall and allow them to get into the base. The free spells being used over the point defense, really anything that's targeting the witches. If it's targeting the skeletons, really not something to deal with. But as you're moving into the base, you really want to try and make sure that you're preserving your rage, especially your heal, and also you really want to try and preserve your free spells as well. That's really important. You'll notice that actually on one side there's more witches than the other. So definitely this is something to really keep in mind when you guys are using this. So one quick note though as well, you really want to try and make sure that your witches aren't being hit so often by the multi-inferno. Now you can see, like, yeah, they can survive. It's just, yeah, when there's less than 2 healers, it could really be hefty on exactly, you know, how are you going to be able to get through the rest of the base. But usually witches are really strong at Town Hall 10, and they just do not disappoint, and they can really be a strong powerhouse. So 100%, this gives you guys a really solid example of using the Frozen Witch with a quad quake. You could say that this was more of a witch slap, but I'm going to say that this is a Frozen Witch, specifically with the free spells. Typically, sometimes, if you can take advantage of the quad quake, then that could be even better. So let's go ahead and take a look at another example with this Frozen Witch attack strategy. So here we go, we got another example, and this is definitely a little bit more of a weird base design. Now, of course, we can tell that the multi-infernos are in a line here, and this is really going to provide you with a little bit more value for your wall wrecker. Notice that in this one, you're not bringing a quad quake. There is no value in terms of a quad quake here. Due to the entire base really being open, it's not a good idea. So instead, we're actually taking a look at where the town hall is, which is right here. And notice the pathing here for this wall wrecker. It's pretty much a straight line. A good chunk of the splash is right here. So what this gives us is it gives us knowledge of where our entry point should be. We can send in witches here, which will most likely move into the base. And we'll also send some witches in here as well. This means that we'll have a few more witches scattered around here, and the stone or wall wrecker to move into here along with the heroes. We're bringing the same heal and rage, and we're bringing more free spells over splash. You could say that the other one was more of a witch slap. You can still say that this is also a witch slap, but it is technically the Frozen Witch. So it gives you guys a really solid idea of just knowing how the attack is going to go through. That's kind of why I'm just trying to explain these 3 attacks for you guys, so then you guys get a little bit of a broader sense of the attack. I know in the previous videos I've done, I've kind of been more lenient. We've been showcasing the attack as they move through, but with here, definitely this is something that I kind of want to just reiterate with this attack, or really with any attack going forward. But specifically because we only have 3, we want to try and break this down as much as possible for you guys. So specifically, as I said, moving through with the attack, you want to make sure that you're setting the funnel. So this is going to be using 2 healers on one side, 2 healers on the other with a group of witches, and then sending in the rest of your witches into the base. Specifically, this is going to be using the wall wrecker right behind it there to set the funnel as they move in. Making sure that you set that funnel is really important. You notice that there is a ground expo as well in this attack. However, the ground expo isn't always typically a bad unit to sort of, you know, deal with. Definitely it can be a little bit of a nuisance, but it can work really well. You notice that there aren't too many witches now on either side, especially since they're starting to be taken out. But with the freeze spells, something to keep in mind is freeze value. Do you need to freeze up the heroes? If so, freeze them up. You have 7. But not just that, but look for freeze value. Look for freezing up multi-infernos, expos, Teslas, wizard towers. Really anything that targets those witches, or even your wall wrecker itself. Keep everything alive, especially as they get through the core of the base. You want to be able to have those bowlers for the back end of the base to clear out the rest of it. That's what you're looking for. So when you're using this, you want to heal rage, and then you really want to try and keep the bowlers alive. You should be able to get a good chunk of this base down with the witches, only leaving the bowlers and whatever else is left in the base up. So this will probably most likely include both heroes, if not at least the queen. If the queen died a little bit while ago, then most likely you'll still have a couple witches and probably bowlers. But you got to really keep in mind that sometimes your attack will not go to plan and you will fail. So this is not a fail-proof attack. You'll notice here, there's like a giant, a witch, and minions. That's about it. You don't have anything more here. It's really going to come down to how you guys deal with your attack and how you guys are going to use it. Because sometimes like this, it could be a very close attack. you might not be able to easily dominate a base. However, dealing with a base design like this is a little bit something that you guys should understand. If you guys see where the single or the multi-infernos are in a straight line in front of the town hall, you can get easy value from that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the last example we have here for you guys with the Frozen Witch. So as we look at this one, again, we want to take a look at the town hall. We kind of want to see where that's placed because, again, the wall breaker is really important. But we also want to take a look at where those wizard tower, or multi-infernos are placed. And if they're really out here, then we really want to be very consistent. Again, you'll see that there is a quad quake being used rather than, not a quad quake. So just like the first example that we saw, definitely, we're taking a look at the base design if it's right for it. If we are getting into the base right here and we pop it right here, we can quad quake in this area, which then gives us a good chunk of this base, at least the core of it, out of the way. The only reason that you would use a quad quake is if you're looking for a base design kind of like this, very much compact. There's a lot of small compartments, making it very easy for a quad quake to get a lot of value. This is probably where you could bring in some wall breakers possibly, and once Town Hall 13 drops, maybe even that new siege, the siege barrack, to just set the funnel on the other opposite side. You get a free Mecha. Hey, why not? But obviously, of course, you really want to try and make sure that you're using that wall wrecker, especially with this attack. It's very, very strong with this one, and I would highly encourage that you guys try it. Especially, this attack strategy is very strong, and I encourage that you guys try it. I wouldn't be sharing this one and I wouldn't be explaining it if it wasn't something that you guys should try out. I would encourage that you guys try out. It's very, very strong in the meta. Now with this, again, just like the last one, we're sending in a funnel to go on one side and one to go onto the opposite side. Once that's happened, we can start sending in everything as they go through. We have the heal and rage for the bowlers towards the back end of the base. We have a quad quake for around the core. And we have freeze spells to get freeze value. This is specifically Expos, Wizard Towers, Multi-Infernos, possibly the Queen if you're having to deal with it, and you're bringing a poison spell. And you can see, actually, from right here, Quad Quake being used first instead of later on. This is up to you and your personal preference, whether you like to use the Quad Quake at the beginning or the Quad Quake later on. This is going to be up to you, but typically you're going to be using it either during it or before. So, just to give you guys an idea of it. But as you're moving into the base, you obviously have the witches moving on both sides, creating the funnel. This should allow you to get some sort of value from the funnel. This then will allow your heroes to stay into the base because a funnel is extremely important. We got a good example right here of dealing with a damage CC, freezing up basically nothing there. Kind of a little bit of a freeze that kind of really didn't do too much. But again, sometimes that's going to happen. You're going to fat finger a freeze and it may not be in the place that you really want it to be. So it's sometimes not going to get you a ton of value. But notice that this Quad Quake has opened up both Multi-Infernos. That's really what you're looking for. You're trying, if the Multi-Infernos are on the back end of the base, look to open at least two of them. Actually, both of them, if possible. If you can't, then you're going to have to find a way to deal with it without having to really waste, your bowlers in like the first or second layer, and then also having your queen's ability being wasted. You've got to really consider that when you guys are using this one. But most of the time, you should be able to get through a good chunk of the base, especially if you've gotten through the core. So that's what you're looking for. But that's going to do it, guys, for the video. I hope that this gives you guys a broad dynamic in terms of the Frozen Witch. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this one. Definitely something that I wanted to do for a while, especially another witch one at Town Hall 10 after the Bat Slap one. You guys can check it right here. It's going to be either a card or a video that you guys can click on as an end screen. But if you guys did enjoy this video, why not leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss anything. Also, let me know in the comments below if you guys like these witch attacks, and let me know if you guys want to see a little bit of some variety. So maybe funneling, pathing guides, something that isn't a strategy. And also let me know if you guys want to see some videos on maybe a let's play, especially with Town Hall 13 coming out. As of this recording, Town Hall 13 has not released, of course, but so far Please let me know in the comments below if you guys really want to see some other videos other than just strategy guides, and I will definitely try to bring it to you guys. Also, feel free to join all the clans I'm covering in the description below. All of them are recruiting for next season, so definitely I would appreciate that you guys probably jump onto those. And also feel free to join my community Discord and follow me on Twitter @_CorruptYT. With that being said, that's going to do it, guys, for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.